Congressman Pfluger, welcome in.
Well, thank you. And Craig, I'm back in Texas, back in the district. I was in Washington, D.C. this week. Obviously, it's just a terrible situation. You really think about how the Democrats have held our country hostage, and now the impacts to the FAA, to air traffic control, to our military families, those that are serving in the government. You know, when I came through TSA, our local TSA here in the district, these are good, hardworking people, and they're just asking when is this going to, get resolved? And you continue to see a willingness from Thune and from Republican senators to try to move this along, and yet Democrat senators just like Bernie Sanders and these guys just keep holding it hostage. It's a very un-American, unpatriotic thing to do.
Congressman, what's the solution? One solution, of course, the nuclear option, and we're hearing lots of pros and cons about that, and everybody has an opinion, it seems. What's yours?
Well, that's a Senate rule. I would be very cautious about repealing the filibuster, and here's why. Yes, in the short term, it would help us to get past this, but in the long run, if Democrats took the Senate control back, then you better believe that they're going to pack the courts. And you're not going to have 9 Supreme Court justices, but you're going to have 13, and they're going to put 4 or 5 liberal justices in there, and they're going to put them in there for life. You're going to have Washington, D.C. and possibly Puerto Rico then make a case that they should be a U.S. state, which would give them 2 or 4 more senators. So you better believe that that's going to come back and bite us. Harry Reid got rid of the filibuster for the purposes of Supreme Court justices. So now it's just a 51 vote margin that's needed for justices. And that worked out for us because we've been able to appoint good conservative, judges that have, I think, really in the last couple of years saved our country. So that's a Senate rule. I'm not in favor of it. I really do think that they need to be very cautious. It may work out in the next 4 to 6 months, but not in the long run.
But don't you think, Congressman, that when Democrats do take over at some point, I hope they don't, but numbers probably tell us that will happen sometime. But don't you think when that happens, they're going to be some other going to do it anyway?
Well, it's a good case to be made, Craig, and we're so divided right now. So I think one could argue very strongly that that's the case, but I do also think that there is a case to be made that cooler heads can prevail in the Senate. So again, this is a Senate rule. I spend my time in the House, thankfully. We've been very active and most of the time try to get the Senate moving. So we'll watch to see what's going to happen there.
Congressman August Pfluger on KWEL AM 1070 and FM 107.1. We'll bring in a call. Welcome into the broadcast with Congressman Pfluger. Good morning.
Well, good morning, and we sure do thank you for representing this great state and even being from this area. What I want to know is if the Constitution starts with we the people, okay, the money that they get in their pockets, their paychecks, the money that they get, that they keep making that we don't really have, it belongs to the people. It's our money. It's taxpayer dollars. And how come we are still having to pay people that are treasonous? It's proven. It's a fact. They're doubling down. They're blocking the country from moving forward. And I don't understand how come we cannot remove them, walk them out of their office like he's done already to so many others, and say, look, all the money that you've stolen from the American people, go home, have fun, live the rest of your life, but don't come back here tomorrow because you don't have a job here.
All right. Congressman, any thoughts?
Well, I think this is the frustration. It's like, where's our money going? Who's it going to? What are they doing? The accountability. There's been such a lack of accountability. I hear that frustration loud and clear. I think that's exactly what the mandate was that President Trump had. Go in and fix the swamp. Fix those. The fact that taxpayer dollars are going to things that we don't know where it is, and the accountability is so low. So if referring to other representatives, look, I mean, we had a big win last night. Nancy Pelosi's not coming back, and that's a big win. I mean, apparently this radical Democrat Party's too radical for her. But the caller is right, and the work that we've done over the past 7 or 8 months to actually find accountability for where those dollars are going and what taxpayer funded programs means. This is why we're in the shutdown, because Democrats couldn't figure out any other reason they couldn't figure out any other way or tactic to stop what we were doing, which was getting the country back on track to have accountability. And everybody in Midland, Odessa, regardless of where you stand, are hardworking people that in their businesses and homes have to have accountability. So the caller is right. That work has been done. Democrats are now holding it hostage, which is unfortunate.
19 away from 8 o'clock. Congressman August Pfluger on KWEL 1070 and FM 107.1. We had a story here a while ago, Congressman, where the Republicans might have a plan together that will kind of keep things going temporarily through December or somewhere in that area, and then they may acquiesce a little bit on the Obamacare stuff. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I'll tell you the statement that I made as chairman of the Republican Study Committee, which we do not make a whole lot of statements, but when we do, a 189-member organization, Fox News featured it all day yesterday, and it basically said, do not have some sort of funding measure, some sort of continuing resolution that expires before Christmas. We're going to go into January at least. We need the time, and we're not going to be held hostage again at Christmas, which is a favorite tactic of Democrats, to hold us hostage at Christmas. And by the way, when you think that you're holding us hostage over these healthcare subsidies, wrong. We know that we're wasting literally hundreds of billions of dollars here. So that statement was received. I talked to a few senators. They appreciated the fact that it gave them the firepower. So I do think that we will, the next iteration, I mean, obviously we had a continuing resolution that was going to go to November 21st. We're only a week and a half away from that. So I think the next iteration will go into at least January. And there's going to be some, now the Democrats have caused some problems. And it's really, this has gone beyond what I think most people thought. And we're going to take a hard stance. We do have many measures, and I have lots of legislative ideas. My organization is championing these ways to lower health care costs, to lower the price of drugs, to make sure there's more accountability, that we don't fund illegal aliens in Medicaid in places like New York and California, that we reform these programs, and we get the fraud, waste, and abuse out. We have those solutions, and we're ready to go, and I'm talking to Mike Johnson on a daily basis about that.
Congressman August Pfluger on KWEL 1070 and FM 107.1. The military, what about military pay?
Well, it's, again, they have found a way to pay them at the end of the month. So now we're looking at mid-month pay, that will occur on the 13th or so. And I don't think that these are not endless funds. So they may be able to cover a little bit of it, but this is in jeopardy. And the longer this goes, it's just putting, I know personally there are banks here in the local area that are helping at Goodfellow, and those in Killeen, where I also represent, are helping at Fort Hood. But this is a real stressor for families. Some of these families who are also on food stamps. Thankfully, and I talked to the West Texas Food Bank and Libby Campbell, and she does a great job, but thankfully the 42 million Americans that are supposed to receive SNAP or on those benefits are going to receive them. The courts have ordered that. That is a huge deal, and the Trump administration pushed for that. You better believe that Biden and Obama would not have done that, but President Trump did that.
I believe last time you visited with us, Congressman, you indicated to us you were not taking a paycheck. What about the rest of those in Congress? I know that I believe Senator Kennedy has introduced or was thinking about introducing some kind of a bill to limit people in Congress from getting a paycheck.
Well, no, most are not. I can't speak for every member, obviously. I am not. Look, how can you pay members of Congress when our military or our air traffic controllers or our border patrol aren't getting paid? Give me a break. That does not match. That doesn't work. So yes, I voted to fund the government. And Craig, but no, I'm not receiving a paycheck. And I will also tell you that in years past, when this became an issue, when Joe Biden was president, when Nancy Pelosi was speaker, we were furious over the spending packages. I mean, furious over they spent so much money, and we're clawing that back right now. It's going to take years to unwind that. But there were times where I went to Washington, D.C. and had to weigh the prospects of shutting the government down and not paying our military and not paying our Border Patrol. And we made the right decision. I will tell you, we made the right decision. And there were callers that would call in that were upset about that. So, we've got to get to a point in this country where, we get the funding in a more accountable way. And we've been working on that. And I think that is the crux of this problem, because Democrats know that we are coming after programs that have fraud, waste, and abuse. We've done it all year long, and we're going to continue to do it. And that's why they're trying to hold hostage the American family, which is not right.
And Congressman, SNAP benefits, what about that?
Well, as I mentioned, I think the Trump administration went to the courts and have found a way to figure out how to get the 42 million Americans back onto those benefits. So I think that has been a successful bid. It should happen as of today. So for those that are receiving it, I want you to know I voted yes. We passed the resolution. We continued to move the ball down the field, and Democrats are holding you hostage. They are holding your family hostage because they don't care about you. President Trump does. He went to the courts. Those benefits should resume today.
Congressman, are you getting a lot of correspondence via text or faxes? Listen to me, faxes. I'm going back a little bit. But are you getting a lot of correspondence on the government shutdown from constituents out here?
Craig, we've gotten some. The numbers of calls and emails that we get, we don't get a lot of faxes. I appreciate the fact that you brought that in. But it's been pretty low. And, I think most people are just fed up. They're just fed up with the antics, and they want adults in the room making adult decisions and doing right by the country, and they want us to figure it out. And time and again, we've had solutions, but as far as our district goes, I mean, if you're receiving SNAP benefits, if you're military, if you've been working with some of the farming programs, then you know that the shutdown has impacted you. But I would say for a lot of people, and especially those in the oil and gas industry, and those that are just Main Street business owners, it really hasn't been something probably that is noticeable unless you're now traveling through the airport, which is a good thing. I want to see a government that's smaller, that doesn't impact people as much, where we continue. I mean, my office has been open and we continue to deliver those services, but the number of calls that we have gotten, quite honestly, most of them have said, stay strong. Don't give in to this hostage crisis. Tell the Democrats that we're not going to give in to their demands when they hold the American family hostage. And so I appreciate that.
And again, the big demand, I guess, is the Obamacare subsidies. Am I right?
You're right. That's right. They were introduced in 2021, $300 billion emergency subsidies only for the purpose of the COVID emergency for 1 to 2 years. And now premiums have gone up year over year. Democrats wanted to in 2022 and 2023. They wanted to make them permanent. They couldn't make them permanent. They couldn't even get the votes amongst Democrats to do that. That's how expensive and outrageous this program was. And now they're coming to us saying, well, you should make them permanent. Well, excuse me, we're the party of fiscal responsibility, and we are the ones that are cutting the fraud, waste, and abuse. So, yes, healthcare is expensive. We have a plan to continue to bring it down, and it includes many pieces of legislation that I'm championing. But we're going to get the government open, and then we'll have that discussion with them.
I was thinking about this great district this morning for some reason, but District 11 really has a lot. Obviously, we've got oil, we've got agriculture in the form of farming and ranching and cotton and everything. And I'm not sure what I'm missing here, but of course, military down at San Angelo, but it's quite a district.
Well, also in Killeen with Fort Hood. I mean, we've got two of the most impressive military bases in Goodfellow and, as you mentioned, Fort Hood. And then, when you think about the oil and gas production and God bless everybody who's doing that. And I know it's a tough time right now. And I work with the administration daily to make sure we can cut regulations. We don't want to set the price, but we certainly know, and I acknowledge and have tried to educate my colleagues that 65 to 85 is that sweet spot. That's where the economy is moving along well, but we're the backbone of our economy. Whether it's agriculture or the energy production area, we are the backbone of our economy. This is the best district. There's none better. I mean, there is none better, and every single friend and colleague that I serve with acknowledges that. Man, you have a good district. Those people are pretty amazing. I say, yes, they are. They absolutely are.
All right, Congressman August Pfluger, we will bring in one more call quickly and welcome into the broadcast. You're on the air next. Good morning.
Good morning, senores. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Pfluger. What is your plan to bring the cost down for health care? You say you have a plan. What is the plan?
Yes, sir. Well, it starts with competitiveness, which is why my piece of legislation that brings in competition to the making of pharmaceuticals, where these companies had prevented competition and the prices had gone up, that's the first step. Introduce competition. The Trump administration has adopted every single piece of my legislation when it comes to that. Number two, it involves getting rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse on the Medicaid program, specifically in states like New York and California, where they were giving almost 2 million illegal aliens free health care. Get the illegal aliens off of free health care, have the states do the accountability and the checks and the balances that they needed to do to make sure that they know who is on these programs, because some people were signing up in multiple states. Millions of people were signing up in multiple states. Number three, it involves another transparent move. When you sign up on the exchange, you need to be able to see the price of what these premiums are going to cost you. And when the government is subsidizing them, which is why we have to limit those subsidies, but when the government is subsidizing them, these insurance companies are taking advantage of that, and year over year they continue to raise their prices because they know that Uncle Sam is going to continue to fund it. We cannot do that anymore. We have to make it transparent. We have to make it competitive. Those are three immediate steps that we are taking, and you are going to see more accessible, more affordable health care as a result of those steps. There are more to come. But Democrats for 15 years, and we knew this when John McCain turned his thumb down, we knew that this system was trending towards a high price, low accessibility system, and that's exactly where we are, and it's going to take some time to unwind it, but the GOP does have a plan and a solution, and it starts with those steps.
Congressman, we must run. We'll let you get back to work. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.